What's up guys, it's Casey McKeown back again with another video this week, and I'm selling my fourplex. Now, to be honest with you guys, this is something that I didn't have planned. I'm gonna go through the reasons why this has kind of come about, but I actually just refinanced this property using the VA IRRRL, which is the interest rate reduction loan, as well as refinancing another multifamily that I have, as well as another property. I basically did a package all together to refinance 3 properties, and the lender's not too happy because he's actually gonna have to pay back the money he made on the loan because I'm selling it so quick after just refinancing it. Now, if you guys have been watching me for quite some time, I actually did an entire video of how to utilize your VA loan to purchase a fourplex. Now, I've walked through my particular fourplex, explained the numbers, also explained just all of the capex that I've had to do. I've replaced a lot and fixed a lot with it, upgraded some units, added a washer and dryer and dishwasher to a couple of the units, increased the rent, and I'm gonna sell it for a decent amount of profit. Now, there are a ton of benefits with the VA loan, but one of the benefits is the fact that you can purchase a duplex, triplex, or quad and put 0% down. Now, a lot of people that aren't veterans, you can do the same thing, but utilize your FHA loan, which is 3.5% down. And depending on your area, you may be able to utilize a conventional loan, but in my local market, it would have to be at least 15% down. And that's relatively close to the 20 or 25% requirement that you'd have to do otherwise. So really, it's either gonna be a VA loan or an FHA loan to totally leverage yourself and purchase a multifamily home and occupy one of the units. Now, I've actually done this with a duplex and I've done it with a fourplex. I was able to not have to pay PMI. I was able to get a substantially low interest rate at the time and even refinance recently, as I just mentioned, to an even lower interest rate with really little to no money out of pocket. I was able to refinance that particular fourplex down to a 2.25% interest rate. So my intent here was to hold my duplex and hold my fourplex for a total of 6 units, continue to cash flow on each one of them because of the fact that the interest rate was as low as 2.25, and I didn't even have necessarily any money down on either of those properties. I just had a good amount of appreciation in the local DFW or Dallas-Fort Worth market that I would eventually maybe sell and 1031 into something fun down the road. Well, fast forward to the end of 2021, and that fourplex is actually under contract for one of my clients, and I'm under contract for a commercial 4-unit building to 1031 and use my proceeds from my fourplex to purchase that commercial building. Now, the big question you may all be asking is, why would you sell a fourplex that has 2.25% interest rate? And to be honest with you guys, there is little to no capex or repairs really needed in that property anymore, because over the last 2 years since purchasing it, I've put a ton of money into it. To give you an idea, I've completed the foundation, I've replaced both sewer lines, I've replaced all the hot and cold water old copper lines with PEX lines. I've actually installed washer and dryer and dishwashers in 2 of the 4 units, as I mentioned earlier. I had a new roof and a new HVAC unit or 2 at least. So a majority of the work, even updating 3 of the 4 units, has been done, but I'm selling. So the big question is, why on earth would you sell? Well, that kind of comes down to a story. So if you're utilizing your VA loan, your FHA loan, or a low down conventional loan, you have to occupy. If you don't occupy, and I've went over this before, that's mortgage fraud. So stay away from that. If you're gonna utilize your VA loan or a low down payment option when it comes to purchasing a house, again, you have to occupy. So the fourplex in September of 2019, I did occupy it until about October of 2020. At that time, I had wound up building my own custom home, and I've been living there ever since. But I lived in this fourplex for a little over a year, no issues, just kind of updated things, redid the plumbing, as I mentioned as well. There were some minor issues, but for the most part, I had no issues with tenants. The area is very desirable for the small units. I think I'm getting anywhere between $850 and $1,000 for a 2-bedroom unit, so it was very affordable for a market. And to be honest with you, the headache really started after I moved out. So the issues that arose, as I mentioned, were after I moved out. Once I moved out, I believe the internal city decided to kind of revamp its city. If you're local in the DFW market and you want to purchase a multifamily home, I would stay away from the city of Irving. Now, this is not calling the city of Irving out, but it absolutely is. So with that being said, the city of Irving kind of revamped its system and the individuals that they've hired. With that also came a little bit of a headache. Now the headache starts with the fact that my particular fourplex is really stop number one on the 2 days during the week that trash comes and picks up. Now you may be asking, why does it matter what time trash is being picked up? Well, in the city of Irving, which Irving is kind of on the outskirt limits of Dallas, it's still in Dallas County, but the city of Irving does not have a recycle bin or a trash bin that you can throw your trash in. You just lay your trash out on the grass or out on your lawn and they pick it up as they drive by. Well, the issue is if you're getting trash picked up at 6 a.m., you oftentimes are waking up at that time, or you hear the trash guy outside and you're like, crap, it's too late and my trash is, overflowing inside. So you either A, wind up getting the trash out too late and it sits on the curb for 3 days, or you put it out the night before, and because my fourplex is not in the best of areas, kind of in a lower income area, there's a ton of stray animals, so the animals will get into the trash and basically throw your trash everywhere by the morning when the trash people actually come to pick up. So this has actually been an issue since I moved out, really the start of 2021, where I believe they kind of had a changing in personnel. And initially I got a fine sent to my home address, basically saying, hey, your trash is being put out on the wrong day, or your trash is being put out at the wrong time. So I got a fine, and at the time, obviously, and still being, all of the connections that I have to do are through a Zoom call with the City of Irving's judge. So I have to wait an entire month to be able to present my case to the judge, and then I explain, hey, I've let my tenants know, I've hired a property management company, I've done this and that. Then they say, okay, we'll go ahead and check it to make sure it's good, and they'll come back to me and let me know. Well, it doesn't end there. So as I mentioned, I did wind up trying to get one of my tenants to take care of the trash. It didn't really work. I hired a property management company that cost me about 8 to 9% of my rent every single month for the entire fourplex. That didn't really help. And instead, I wound up actually getting a second fine. Now, each one of these fines from the city of Irving, if they go through, which I'm still to this moment fighting, they're $1,000. So every single fine that I get is $1,000 for having trash outside. So this is something I've been battling for the entire year of 2021. I had 2 fines accumulate, and I've been on probably 4 or 5 Zoom calls with the local judge saying, hey, we had someone come by yesterday and there's still trash out, so we're gonna reschedule for another month. It's just been an absolute pain in the butt. So this last call that I had with the judge, they said that everything's good, your 2 fines will be offset for 6 months. As long as everything is good to go for those 6 months, you'll be clear, you won't owe a penny. Well, you wanna guess what happens next? You're right. A third and final fine, and by final, I'm saying final because I'm selling the damn fourplex already, but the third fine for another $1,000 is going to basically re-kick the other 2 active fines. And I even had a question for the judge at the time. Hey, hypothetically, if I were to sell the fourplex, what happens with these? And she said, you're not the owner anymore, so it doesn't matter. So with that being said, I have accumulated 3 fines. I've been on 5 to 8 different Zoom calls with the local judge of the city of Irving. I've hired a property management company. I've had a tenant be discounted his rent to take care of the garbage. None of this is working. So with that being said, the city of Irving is going to really attack anyone and everyone they can to try to get as many fines racked up and get as much money for their city as possible. And to give you guys an idea, I do have another multifamily in a different city where I've had absolutely no issues with, and I've owned that property for twice as long as I've owned the fourplex in Irving. So with that being said, I'm done and I'm selling it. So to give you guys a quick synopsis here, I bought the fourplex for, I believe, the low 300s. I'm gonna be selling it for about 530. 550 was what I was gonna list it on the market for, but I'm not having to pay any realtor commissions here because I am selling it to one of my past clients and keeping and maintaining the good relationship I have with him. But I'm gonna be netting a little over $200,000. Now, that is going to be utilized with a 1031 exchange, and I'm gonna be leveraging myself. Instead of a $550,000 residential fourplex, I'm actually gonna be purchasing a commercial property that is already leased out to 2 individuals or 2 different companies. and the owner is occupying the other 2 units. My personal residential real estate company is going to occupy the same 2 units that the owner is currently occupying. We're gonna go through and remodel it, open it up a little because it is an attorney's office with a little bit more office-y kind of look, and we're gonna open it up. Should be completed hopefully at the end of Q1, so stay tuned for that. But with that, I'm actually gonna be moving what I once purchased with a 0% down VA loan for about 3 1/4, sold it for $530, used a 1031 exchange, and with that, I'm actually purchasing close to a $1.2 million commercial property. So when I have a lot of you guys watch my videos, or a lot of people reach out on social media, they say, hey, where do I start? Honestly, purchase a property, because properties across the country right now are just gaining significant value. I'm gonna be able to use my VA loan, put no money down, and basically escalate in about 2.5 or 3 years to over $1 million commercial property. Now, the benefit of that too is I'm going to actually be purchasing in an LLC and renting it back to my real estate company. So my real estate company also holds no liability for that building. So basically at the end of the day, I'm upgrading from a 4-unit four-plex to a 4-unit commercial building that already is gonna have 3 tenants paying me rent every single month. That's the 2 tenants plus my real estate company that will be paying my individual LLC. So my advice for all the folks that are watching this and don't own a property, I would highly suggest that you get something sooner rather than later. Real estate across the country is not getting cheaper, and as you can see, in 2 years, I have $200,000 in appreciation in this four-plex alone. Now, obviously, every single market is different. That's not going to be, hey, buy a house now and in 2 years you're gonna have $200,000 in appreciation. But I was fortunate enough in this situation where I am, and honestly, I'm purchasing any kind of property I can at a good value in the DFW area because I know it's going to continue to climb in prices. I know I've connected a handful of people to local real estate agents in your independent market. If you do not have a local real estate agent in yours, shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email. Both of those contacts will be in the description below. I'd love to get you connected with someone locally to you, and maybe you in 4 years could be doing exactly what I'm doing. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.